The Valorian Concordat had perfected xenobiological classification 3,000 years before humanity discovered fire. Their scanners could measure combat potential, tactical intelligence, physical resilience, and threat assessment across 17 million known species with 99.9% accuracy. The technology had prevented countless wars and established a galactic hierarchy that kept peace through understanding. Louis Chen stood in the processing chamber of Outpost, watching the blue scanning grid materialize around his body. The translator implant behind his ear converted the Valorian technicians chittering into crisp English. Remain still, human. The classification scanner will determine your species' threat index and assign appropriate station privileges. Louis had heard the speech a dozen times during the 6-month journey from Earth. He was the 47th human to undergo classification since first contact 18 months ago. The previous 46 had all received the same result: Tier 7 classification, minimal threat, limited privileges, restricted zones throughout Concordat space. He didn't mind. Louis was a xenobiologist, not a soldier. He'd come to study, not to fight. The scanner hummed, and Louis felt a tingling sensation as it analyzed every cell in his body. The holographic display showed his skeletal structure, muscular composition, neural pathways, and cardiovascular efficiency. Numbers scrolled past in Valorian script, comparing him to the vast database of known species. Then something changed. The scanner's pleasant blue light shifted to amber, then to crimson. An alarm shrieked through the chamber. The Valorian technician's 4 eyes widened in what Louis recognized as fear. "Impossible," the technician whispered. Louis tried to move, but the scanning field held him frozen. "What's wrong?" The technician's manipulator appendages flew across the control console. "The classification. It's rejecting the input. In 3 centuries of operation, I've never seen." The holographic display flickered. Every measurement, every calculation, every comparative analysis began dissolving into static. Then, in letters that seemed to burn through the air itself, a single message appeared. "Do not classify. Priority override. Administrative Council Directive 1. Cease all analysis immediately." The scanning field released Louis so abruptly he stumbled forward. Emergency lights strobed throughout the chamber. Doors that had been open moments ago sealed with a hiss of hydraulics. "What the hell just happened?" Louis demanded. The technician was already backing toward an emergency exit. "You need to leave, now, before security." The door exploded inward. Ana Rodriguez had exactly 12 seconds of warning before the security team breached her quarters. The shipboard AI had whispered the alert through her neural interface. Classification anomaly detected. Human Louis Chen flagged. Security protocols activated. Your presence requested. She'd been on the Concordat station for 3 weeks, cataloging human integration challenges. As Earth's diplomatic attaché, it was her job to smooth over cultural misunderstandings and ensure humanity's place in galactic society. But nothing in her briefings had prepared her for this. Ana reached the processing chamber to find it surrounded by Valorian security forces, their weapon equivalents trained on the sealed door. A Valorian administrator, tentacled, ancient, and radiating authority, turned to face her. "Attaché Rodriguez, explain your species." Ana's diplomatic training kicked in. "I'd be happy to, Administrator, but first I need to know what's happened. Why has Dr. Chen been detained?" "Detained?" The administrator's voice carried an edge of something Ana couldn't identify. Fear. "Awe. We have not detained him. We are protecting ourselves from him." "Louis is a scientist. He's not a threat to anyone." "That," the administrator said, gesturing to a holographic display, "is precisely the problem." The display showed Louis's scan results, or rather the lack of them. Where other species had clean readouts showing their capabilities, limitations, and classification tier, Lewis's data was a mess of contradictions. His physical strength registered as Tier 7, completely average. His neural processing speed was Tier 6, slightly below average. But underneath those mundane measurements, something else lurked. Combat potential, error. Survival adaptability, EXCEDS scale. Threat assessment, undefined. Strategic unpredictability, critical warning. Your Dr. Chen, the administrator continued, is the 47th human we have attempted to classify. All previous attempts resulted in clean Tier 7 readings, but the scanner has been learning, building a composite profile, and 3 scans ago it began to see patterns we did not program it to recognize. Anna felt a chill run down her spine. What patterns? Your species does not classify because you are not one thing, you are everything. The administrator pulled up comparison data. A Valorian warrior is strong but predictable. A Zythian strategist is brilliant but physically weak. A Krellian survivor is resilient but lacks adaptability. Every species in the Concordat has specialization, strengths and weaknesses that balance. This is the foundation of galactic stability. The hologram shifted, showing humanity's composite profile. Humans are weak compared to warriors, slow compared to hunters, short-lived compared to scholars, but you are never only one thing. You are weak, but you build weapons. You are slow, but you create vehicles. You are short-lived, but you pass knowledge through generations with obsessive detail. You are individually insignificant, but you cooperate in ways that amplify your strengths exponentially. Anna stared at the data. She'd never thought of humanity this way, as a glitch in the galactic order. The scanner, the administrator said quietly, has a directive older than the Concordat itself. If it ever encounters a species that cannot be safely classified, a species whose threat potential is theoretically unlimited, it triggers Directive 1. Do not classify, because to classify is to define limits, and your species has no limits we can measure. Inside the sealed chamber, Lewis had reached the same conclusion from a different angle. The Valorian technician hadn't fled. Instead, she'd remained, manipulator appendages trembling, staring at Lewis as if he were a bomb with an unknown timer. "You don't understand what you are, do you?" she asked. "I'm a xenobiologist from San Francisco who really just wants to study exomicrobiology and maybe publish a paper or two," Lewis said. "What do you think I am?" "A category killer." Lewis blinked. "A what?" Technician pulled up historical data on a portable display. 6,000 years ago, the Concordat encountered a species called the Ravagers. They had no specialization, no clear strengths or weaknesses. They adapted to every challenge, overcame every obstacle, and nearly destroyed galactic civilization before the Concordat developed the first classification scanner. The scanner's purpose was never just to measure strength. It was to identify species like them before they could threaten stability. "And you think humans are like these Ravagers?" "No," the technician's voice was hollow. "I think you're worse. The Ravagers were unified in purpose, single-minded. Your species isn't even unified with itself, and you still accomplish the impossible. You fight wars among yourselves while simultaneously exploring space. You create art while engineering weapons. You're kind and cruel, logical and emotional, selfless and selfish, often within the same individual, sometimes within the same moment." Lewis felt something shift in his understanding. So the scanner can't classify us because we're too contradictory, too unpredictable. The scanner can't classify you because you redefine the parameters by which classification exists. The technician gestured to the frozen display. "Look at your own scan. Your muscle density is unremarkable, but the scanner detected trace memories of you running a marathon, lifting weights and remaining sedentary, all within the same month. Your neural patterns show specialized development in scientific analysis, but also in creative writing, strategic gaming, and emotional pattern recognition. You're not optimized for anything. You're barely competent at everything." Thanks, Lewis said uncertainly. You misunderstand. Specialization is efficient but fragile. Generalization is inefficient but antifragile. Your species is antifragile at a civilizational level. You improve from stress. You learn from failure. You thrive in chaos because you're already chaos, organizing itself just enough to build starships and philosophy and weapons and poetry. The door began to unseal. Anna stood with the administrator as security forces prepared to extract Lewis from the chamber. She'd been arguing for 30 minutes, using every diplomatic tool in her arsenal. He's not dangerous, she insisted. None of us are, we're just trying to find our place in the galaxy. That, the administrator said, is what concerns us most. The Ravagers wanted to conquer, to destroy. We could fight that, but humans want to find their place, to integrate, to be part of the order. And in doing so, you will inevitably remake that order in your image, not through malice but through mere existence. You're afraid of cultural contamination. We're afraid of category collapse. Our civilization is built on specialization and hierarchy. Every species knows its role, but humans don't have a role. You'll take every role, reshape it, and make it more human in the process. And because you're generous, because you genuinely want to coexist, we'll accept those changes. Until one day we wake up and realize the Concordat no longer functions on our principles, but on yours. Anna felt a surge of frustration. So what's your solution? Quarantine Earth, refuse first contact. No, because that would be another category error. Humans don't stay quarantined. You're already here, and within a generation you'll be everywhere. The scanner saw that too. Your expansion potential is marked as inevitable. The chamber doors opened. Lewis emerged, flanked by security, looking confused but unharmed. His eyes found Anna's. Did I break something? He asked. Anna couldn't help but laugh, a very human response to stress. Yeah, Lewis, you broke the universe's filing system. The administrator watched them both with an expression Anna was learning to read as resigned acceptance. Attaché Rodriguez, Dr. Chen, the Concordat Council will convene in 6 hours to determine how to handle the human situation. You will both attend. Will we be expelled from Concordat space? Anna asked. Unlikely. We've run simulations. Attempting to exclude humanity creates more instability than integration. No, you'll be allowed to remain, but you will not receive a classification tier. You will exist outside the hierarchy. What does that mean practically? Lewis asked. It means every interaction with your species will be evaluated case by case. It means no one will know quite what to expect from you. It means you'll be simultaneously fascinating and terrifying to every other species in the Concordat. The administrator's tentacles rippled in what might have been a shrug. It means you'll be human, and we'll all have to deal with what that entails. 6 hours later, Anna and Lewis stood before the Concordat Council, an assembly of representatives from 47 member species, each specialized and classified and perfectly situated in the galactic hierarchy. The head counselor, a being of crystalline intelligence designated Tier 2 for strategic analysis, addressed them directly. Humanity presents an unprecedented challenge to Concordat stability. Our classification scanner, which has maintained peace and order for millennia, cannot process your species. We have 3 options: attempt to modify the scanner, attempt to modify humanity, or accept the classification failure and proceed without precedent. Anna stepped forward. With respect, counselor, I think you're missing a 4th option. The chamber fell silent. Instead of seeing our unclassifiability as a failure, Anna continued, consider it an opportunity. Your scanner worked perfectly. It did exactly what it was designed to do: identify a species that doesn't fit existing categories. That's not a glitch. That's a feature. It's telling you that your model of the galaxy is incomplete. Lewis picked up her thread. Every species here has optimized for something, but optimization requires trade-offs. You gain efficiency in one area by sacrificing capability in others. Humans didn't optimize. We're the species that refuse to choose. And yes, that makes us unpredictable, but it also makes us adaptable in ways that specialized species aren't. You propose chaos as a virtue, the counselor asked. I propose diversity as a strength, Anna said. The Concordat is stable because of specialization, but it's also fragile. If a threat emerges that doesn't fit your categories, your specialized responses might fail. Humans are generalists. We're your backup plan for the unknown. The council deliberated for 3 hours. When they returned, the crystalline counselor seemed to glow with a different frequency. The Concordat accepts humanity as an unclassified species. You will have access to all standard facilities, but you will be monitored. Not as a threat, but as a phenomenon we do not yet understand. Dr. Chen, your research will continue. Attaché Rodriguez, your diplomatic mission will expand. And humanity will be watched, studied, and, if we're being honest, feared just a little. We can live with that, Anna said. As they left the council chamber, Lewis turned to Anna. Did we just convince an entire galactic civilization to embrace uncertainty? No, Anna said, smiling. We convinced them that they already live with uncertainty. We're just the first species honest enough not to hide it. The classification scanner had given humanity its verdict. Do not classify. Not because humans were too weak to measure or too strong to contain, but because they were too variable to define. They were the species that could be anything, which meant they could never be only one thing. In a galaxy built on categories, humanity would remain gloriously, frustratingly, dangerously uncategorizable. And somehow that would have to be enough. End